You are looking at a customer who has never paid you a single cent in interest. He pays his balance in full every month, on time, for 9 years running. He carries your premium travel card, the one with the lounge access and the airport status and the metal body that lands on a restaurant table with a satisfying weight, and he is proud of it. He thinks he is beating you. He tells his friends he games the system, that the points and the cash back make the card effectively free, that the people who carry a balance and pay interest are the suckers quietly funding his rewards. He is sitting in the data on the screen in front of you as one of the most profitable customers in the entire portfolio, and he has no idea why, because the way he makes you money was designed so that he would never feel it happen. He is, by every measure that shows up on the floor, one of the best things that ever happened to this company. Here is how a credit card company earns from the people who are most certain they are winning, seen from the floor where the numbers are actually read. Your first month, they walk you through the portfolio, and the portfolio is split into 2 groups whose separation the entire business depends on keeping firmly fixed in the public mind. The first group is called Revolvers. These are the customers who carry a balance from month to month, who pay the minimum or a little more, who pay interest at an annual percentage rate that sits somewhere around 22%. They are the customers everyone outside the building assumes the business runs on, and for a long stretch of the industry's history, it largely did. The second group is called transactors. These are the customers who pay in full every single month and never touch interest at all. The man with the travel card is a transactor, the purest kind. The public story, the one repeated in nearly every personal finance article ever written, is that transactors cost the company money while revolvers generate the profit that pays for everyone's rewards. You believed a version of this yourself before you stood on the floor and watched the actual flows. What you learn in your first month is that every time the transactor taps his card, the company earns money on the transaction itself before interest has any chance to enter the picture. Watch it happen on a single $4.75 coffee. The merchant who sold it does not receive $4.75. The card network lifts about 2.6% off the top, 12 cents, before the money ever reaches the merchant's account, and roughly 9 of those 12 cents flow to your company as interchange. 9 cents. It is invisible. The man tapping his card feels nothing leave his pocket, because in that moment, nothing does. The 9 cents was extracted on the far side of the counter from the merchant, and the merchant raised the shelf price of that coffee months ago to absorb exactly this. So the man pays the 9 cents anyway, folded into the $4.75, and so does the woman behind him paying cash, who hands over the same $4.75 and walks away with no points at all. Now, run that 9 cents across his month. He spends $4,200 on the card in a typical month. At that same rate, his spending hands your company roughly $109 in interchange in 30 days, none of which appears anywhere he can see it. Hold that number. You pull the man's account and watch it for a full quarter. He spends his $4,200 a month on the card every month, like clockwork. He pays the statement off in full each cycle, exactly as the personal finance articles instructed him to. He pays you precisely 0 in interest across the entire 3 months. And across that same quarter, that $109 a month compounded quietly into more than $320 of revenue that never once appeared on his statement, never registered to him as a cost, never gave him a single reason to suspect that the free card he was so proud of carrying was, in fact, one of the most dependable earners on your entire book of business. It takes you about 2 months at the desk to understand what the rewards program is actually for, which is not customer loyalty and not competition with the bank across the street, but a cost the company chooses to pay on purpose because it drags a far larger number through the door behind it. The percentage quietly lifted out of every sale is called interchange, and the moment you truly understand interchange, the rewards card stops looking like a generous gift to the customer and starts looking like the baited hook at the front of a much larger machine. Interchange is charged as a percentage of every single transaction, typically running between 1.5% and just over 3%, depending entirely on the type of card presented. The premium travel card the man carries, the one with the airport lounge access he genuinely loves, carries one of the very highest interchange rates anywhere in the system, because premium rewards cards are specifically permitted to charge merchants more than ordinary cards do. The rewards he earns are funded directly out of that interchange stream. The company collects the merchant's 3%, hands the customer back perhaps 1.5% of it in points, and keeps the difference for itself. Alongside the $550 annual fee, the customer happily pays for the privilege of carrying the card at all. He pays you $550 a year to hold the instrument that charges his merchants the most, and he considers it a bargain, because the lounge alone feels worth it. This is precisely why the company markets the premium card so aggressively, why it dangles the enormous sign-up bonus, why the man was approved in 90 seconds and mailed a heavy metal card sealed inside a black envelope. The company does not want him to slow down or stop spending. It wants him to spend more, and to route all of it through a card that charges merchants the maximum allowable rate. Because every dollar he pushes through that card pulls interchange revenue out of the merchant standing on the other side of the sale. The rewards are not a cost the company grudgingly tolerates. The rewards are the lure engineered to keep a high interchange card sitting at the very front of his wallet and the very front of his spending habits. He believes the points are the proof that he is winning. The points are the mechanism that makes him spend in the first place. You run the full numbers on his account across the year. He earned $940 in rewards over the 12 months. He feels that $940 in a way that is almost physical. He mentions it at dinner parties. What he cannot see is that his $50,400 in annual spending generated $1,310 in interchange flowing in the opposite direction, and that the merchants he bought from, in order to remain profitable at all, long ago raised their base prices across the board to cover that exact cost. He paid for his own rewards inside the price of everything he purchased, and so did every other person shopping alongside him. The $940 he is so proud of was simply refunded to him out of a fund he had already been paying into all year, without ever once noticing. That is the week you come across the internal study. The routine annual one that maps interchange revenue against customer income brackets and lays out in plain figures exactly who is funding the rewards that the wealthy transactor is so proud of earning. The study is not a secret document. It is the ordinary kind of analysis the company runs every year as a matter of course. It shows, in clean tables, that merchants build the cost of interchange into the posted price of goods uniformly, spread across every customer, because a store generally cannot legally charge the cash customer a lower price and the rewards customer a higher one, and in the rare cases where it technically could, it almost never bothers to. So, the price of the coffee, the price of the groceries, the price of nearly everything on the shelf rises by the average cost of accepting cards, which the study puts at close to 2% of the typical retail price, and every single customer pays that elevated 2% at the register, whether they carry a card or not. The customer with no card and no points pays it in full. The customer with a basic card and a little modest cash back pays it. And the wealthy transactor with the premium metal card pays that same elevated price too, except that he alone gets the largest share of it handed back to him in rewards, because his premium card earns at the very highest rate the system allows. The money does not materialize out of nowhere. It moves, and it moves in one direction. It moves from the cash customer and the basic card customer, who both pay the inflated price and receive little or nothing in return, upward to the premium card customer, who pays the identical inflated price but collects a steady stream of points, lounge access, and status in exchange. The reward program, underneath the branding, is a transfer of money, and the direction of that transfer runs from the people who have the least to the people who already have the most, routed silently through the price of ordinary things that everyone has to buy. You stay. The portfolio keeps growing. You get good at modeling which customers to nudge toward the premium tier and which size of sign-up bonus will finally move them. You are not lying to a single person. Every rate is disclosed somewhere. Every term sits in the cardholder agreement. The man with the travel card renews for another year, genuinely delighted, and tells one more friend over dinner that the card is basically free if you are just disciplined enough to pay it off every month. And he is disciplined. He does pay it off every time. He is also, entirely without knowing it, the most profitable kind of customer you have ever been handed, and quietly, the most loyal one too, because he remains completely certain that he is the one winning the game. You close his file for the day. 3 desks over. An analyst is modeling how to move 200,000 more customers exactly like him into the premium tier by spring. The number on her screen, the projected lift in Interchange, has 9 figures in it. The card was free to him in the only sense that he cared about, and it was never free to anyone, least of all the people who could least afford to pay for it. 3 things you can do this week, whichever side of the price you happen to be standing on. Keep paying your card off in full. Nothing here changes that, not for a moment. Interest at 22% is a far worse deal than Interchange will ever be, and a carried balance funds the company directly and deliberately. This is about finally seeing the rest of the machine, not about talking yourself into carrying a balance you do not need. If you pay with cash or a debit card, understand that you are almost certainly paying the higher card-adjusted price already, while receiving none of the rewards that higher price quietly funds. The cheapest feeling option is not always the one that leaves the most in your pocket. A simple, no-fee cashback card, paid in full each month, recovers at least some of what you are unknowingly paying anyway. Notice who the premium card is genuinely aimed at, and why it is marketed to you quite so hard. The lounge, the metal weight, the airport status, the black envelope, all of it is the lure. The Interchange is the catch beneath it. Choose a card for the actual math it produces, not for the private feeling of having beaten the system. The man renews his card today. He pays it off in full, on time, exactly the way he always has, for the 10th year running. He still tells his friends, with complete conviction, that he is the one beating the system. Somewhere a few feet behind him in the same line, someone is paying cash for the same coffee, at the same quietly inflated price, and walking back out into the cold morning with nothing at all to show for the few cents he just quietly paid into the man's lounge access,